Jets at noon with Tyson Rowicki and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
What's up, Jets fans? Welcome into Jets at noon on this
Friday.
This Friday night.
We'll sell you the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge. Come one, come all, walk or crawl. We're going to take you for a ride.
We should go to a Monster Jam.
We should
go to a Monster Jam. That
or
would
the
be
bull
fun.
riding. Have you been to the bull riding? The
No,
PBR?
I've never been.
Man, I used to be well, I still am. The club is just dormant, but it's called the Angry Men's Club, and we would meet at the bull riding.
One of my cousins is he does the physical therapy for the bull riders.
That is, yeah.
Gnarly.
Yeah.
It is crazy what those guys go through.
Yeah.
But we're coming to you live from the Boston Pizza studio for gourmet pizza and pasta. Bring the team to Boston Pizza. And this hour is also brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road, and at washmethod.com. We'll pick a VIP text later on the show. Call or text 204-780-6868. Phone lines are open, and we'll kick the show off with Mike. Mike, you were here early. We got you in. How's it going on this Friday? Mike.
Hello, Mike. Mike.
Uh-oh.
Is that better?
Mike,
There we go,
we got
Mike.
you now, buddy. How are you?
Sorry, I'm doing really well. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Can we agree that the Jets' vision is to win the Stanley Cup?
Yes. Well, I don't know. I agree.
I think, yes. I think that their vision is to be a playoff team and contend.
See, that's where I guess if we're going to say that I accept the current approach. If we say it's to win the Cup, which I've heard Chipman and others say repeatedly, I'm frankly questioning the value of retaining Connor Hellebuck, playing Niedermeyer, playing Nemestikov. I just think there has to be a commitment to play the young guys and to really see if we can translate assets like Hellebuck into assets for the future, because I really question the team's ability to meet that vision statement in the near future. They're not a Stanley Cup contender as currently constituted.
Mike, I'm really glad you brought that up because I totally agree with you. And maybe this wouldn't be the route that I go, but I could understand the Jets wanting to compete this year and contend and take one last run at things after a really tough season last year. I understand that, but if you're going to do that, you got to make some pretty substantial moves, I think. And while I think that the Mario Ferraro and the Stu Skinner signings at a base level were really good signings. You know, they got pretty good value on both of those guys, but it's not enough. Like you mentioned, like you look at the top three teams in the Central, and they're in tough sledding right now. And then Utah's getting better. It's going to be tough for them. And I agree with you. I don't know if this is the right plan if you do want to be a contender, but we'll see what happens with the Connor Hellebuck situation. We're still a few weeks out from camp getting started, and that'll be telling when that comes around and what he says when camp actually does arrive.
Well, and I think both ways. I think if you bring Connor Hellebuck back, you're trying to contend and win a Stanley Cup. And I think if you trade him, it's to improve some of the holes in your lineup and contend and win a Stanley Cup. I'm going to push back a little bit, Mike, just on the fact that I think they feel they're a contender. And I think that once the season starts and they can pile up some wins, that, you know, during the season you can make some moves. There'll be some development within some players that maybe get better, or they make a trade throughout the season to improve their lineup. But not every team on paper going into the season is going to look like Colorado or Dallas or Carolina. There's other teams that are going to be contenders. They're just not going to look like odds-on favorite, but I think the Jets are not going to look like an odds-on favorite, but I do think they're going to look like a contending team that they feel they can push.
See, that's where we beg to differ. And I feel, for example, the President's Trophy winning season was the outlier, and I'm scared that last year is closer to the norm or what the future looks like the team. And if we believe that, I don't really care if they think they're a contender. I think they're wrong. And that's really where I come from.
Can I touch on that, Mike? Because I don't think you're wrong. Like I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. This season could go like last year's. It could. I think they're banking on the fact that they didn't play like they did the previous 2 years. When you say the President's Cup trophy season is the outliner, I'm going to disagree with that. They were second in the West and fourth in the league the year prior to that. Then they went from fourth overall in the league to first overall in the regular season, and they went to the second round. I don't think all of a sudden in a summer, bam, they're 34 points worse. I think a lot of that 34 points has to do with how poorly they played and some missed gambles on Taves and Nyquist. I think if they can fix that, I still don't think they're a top 5 team, don't get me wrong. But if they can bring in some youth, if they can get more, like it'll be hard for Niederreiter to be that bad again. I honestly believe that. I don't think he's going to be 45, 50 points ever again, but I don't think he's going to be under 25 or so. I think if you add it all up, and you're right, Mike, I'm not sitting here when I just did what I did on the lineup and go, well, this is a Stanley Cup winner. I just sit there and go, they have a chance to be a wild card team. And this is the team they have. We know the parameters about acquiring players and stuff. I think what's lost in this offseason is if we all know they need to inject some youth and speed, and Connor Hellebuck told them at the end of the year and all that, they're not idiots.
I want to add to
I think the days of Niederreiter going 15 games without a point and remaining in the lineup are over.
I want to add to Mike's point, though, when you brought up the vision there, Mike. You know, if your vision is to be a playoff contender, and you saw what happened last season, and you see that Connor Hellebuck's frustrated, wouldn't you want to go out and maybe empty the cupboards a little bit and bring in some more players and maybe take a risk that, hey, we might not have a lot of prospects going forward, but we're going to take a healthy run at this one more time with this core?
You can't do both.
No, I'm totally not. I'm saying go all in.
We just did a show this week about how they're 28th in prospects and the cupboards look empty. You cannot empty it all and go all in. This is an organization that can never do that. They have to have a mind going forward because of how tough it is to get players here, but it doesn't mean it can't be done. And I'm standing by the core is the core. And when you build a core like this, you continuously try to augment it until the core isn't the core anymore.
Mike, thanks for the call. Really appreciate it, man. Have a good weekend.
And I appreciate your concerns too, Mike.
Guys.
Yeah, you too. I appreciate your concerns too, Mike, because a lot of fans feel that way, right?
We got Wick on the line right now.
That's kind of how you feel. Like you think that this might be too late in the...
I do think it's too late at this point. And I do wish that I just really think that if you want to take a run at this, if you have confidence in this core, then show them that you have confidence. Go out and make a move that's a little bit splashy. And like even the Maverick Bork deal, for example. You're telling me the Jets couldn't have offered that same thing?
That is the one I wonder about. And not only because I wonder about the move and the cost of it, Tyson, is I wonder because he went to a division rival anyway.
Yeah.
So if they're going to go to a division rival anyway, that idea that Dallas doesn't want to augment the division is gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think for that price being paid. Now, I also think this, and I don't know this, but I've known in the past this goes on. Hey, Maverick, you're a cap crunch. We got to move you. These are the 4 or 5 teams that have called. These are the 3 offers of the 5 teams we like. Where do you want to go?
I would say, if I'm the Stars, I would say too bad. And if I'm Chevy, I go, Nashville's offering this. I'm going to up my offer a little bit then.
Well, I would do the same. But at the end of the day, if the team, and I'm not defending it, or I think the Jets should have gone out and got him. I want to, unequivocal, I would have upped the offer and got him. But I also think sometimes teams in cap crunches were moving guys like Parker Kelly or who is the Colorado Avalanche too that went to Nashville. I think they go, look, we got to move you. That's the way it is. We're sorry, it's a cap crunch. These are the 3 teams that are interested. Where would you like to go? And we'll see if we can get something done.
That would have been Jack Drury.
Jack Drury. Sorry, not Parker Kelly. Parker Kelly's still there. He's a great player. But Jack Drury, yeah. And I just think that most players will go, get me to Nashville.
Yeah. We got Wick on the line now. Wick, how's it going, man?
Hey, man, the sun is shining and the beer is cold.
Lake in the Woods?
Damn right. I just want to kind of change the focus here. We're going in circles, talking about Hellenbach and the projected starting lineup. Down on the Moose, how many new kids do we got coming in on contracts? I think Kevin, he is one.
Kieran Walton would be. Yep, Kieran Walton will be another one.
Like, there's 2 kids right there that I've been following in the O there, and there's some excitement with those 2.
Yep, absolutely. And, if you look at it, it's funny, we talk about all the pressure that's on the Jets and Scott Arniel as well, but Mark Morrison's got to have a lot of pressure on him as the Moose head coach. There hasn't been a lot of positive signs out of the prospects on the Moose right now. So you got to think that he's going to be in a little bit of on the hot seat right now.
I agree. The current Moose development guys, the Barlows is hot. They need time. They need more. I need to see more from them, but I'm not out on them either. I think the next generation, Wick, I think is the Kevin Hees, the Kieran Waltons, the Sasha Bohmenian. I think that looks real good. The problem is it's just there's that gap, right? There's the window of those guys 2 to 3 years from now, potentially. What do you do in the next 2 to 3 years? That was the issue last year. Kevin Cheveldayoff actually said we were hoping some of the Moose players would be more ready, and they just weren't.
And with Tyrell Bauer, I've only seen this guy in his fights, so I've never really seen him play. Like, is he legit or?
He needs to skate better.
Yeah, and the puck moving needs to get a little better as well. He's still on. We know that he was working really hard this offseason on his skating. And so, hey, if I could see him being a number 6 defenseman that, plays a role, especially. And maybe he's not getting 15 minutes or 16 minutes of ice time, but he's able to fill a role. And, ultimately, we'll see a training camp because there is a spot there. But it is interesting. Dave Manouk mentioned that Elias Salamonson could be back a little bit earlier than expected. It's going to be right up to the wire.
Next week we should get Dave on because for all these Moose players, like the last I know is Tyrell Bauer needs to work on his skating, but I also know the last 2 off seasons that's all he's been working on. So we'll see where it goes. But Dave Manouk would know. Like Dave Manouk sees every Moose game, and we should have him on next week and just talk about the Tyrell Bauers and the.
Absolutely. Thanks for the call, Wick. Go ahead.
One last thing. If the Jets this season, if they shit the bed and no playoffs or squeak in and get bounced, your guys' predictions for next season?
All right, thanks, Wick. We got to keep the cussing off the air.
The Lake of the Woods came out there for a minute, Wick. But enjoy your day. We love having you on. Well, I've said it. If they have a season like last year, I think change has come.
It has to. There's just no other choice at that point. Your hand's forced. We got Antonio on the line right now. Antonio, how's it going on this Friday?
Excellent. Jim, you made me laugh so hard at Glendale one time.
I did?
Yeah. You know David Keane?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yo, find it.
That was not me. I was on one fairway. David Keane was in the trees in between the 2 fairways, and there was a guy
when you said that,
on the 3rd fairway.
The fairway on the 13th, I think, or 16th, and I said to my God, "This is a classic."
So you were there that day?
This again?
Yeah, you were there that day.
Yeah, I was there.
So just for the listeners, I was on one fairway.
I started laughing so hard.
Oh, so did I, and so did David. Like David had his head down.
A good guy.
And he's a great guy, and he was looking in the trees, and somebody on the other fairway on the other side said, "Hey!"
I couldn't believe it when you said that.
You'll find it, and he kept looking through the branches and said, "Like I haven't heard that before."
I'm like, oh my God!
And then he looked up and he's like, "Hi, Jim," and I'm like, "Hey, David, how are you?" I go, "I hope you find it." He goes, "I will."
I was on the next hole beside you.
Oh, okay. So that was where it came from. Was that fairway, that the other fairway that was there? It said, "You'll find it."
Oh, and I looked and I said, "Fuck, this Jimmy's great, man." I said, "This guy's great." Like,
I appreciate that, but it wasn't me. I can't take credit for it. I was just and David got a chuckle of it. He said, "Yeah, I will. I'll find it."
Yeah, Antonio, thanks for the call. Appreciate it, man.
You want a good match?
Yeah, thanks, Antonio.
We got Neil on the line right now. Neil, how's it going?
It's going good. What would it take to get Tarasenko to sign a contract, or is there no chance?
We were going to delve into that next week as we were going to go through the remaining free agents, but I don't dislike that, and I don't know where he's at or what do you do. The issue to me is, do you want to spend the money on it, or do you think that somebody is ready to play that? So I think it's more than fair to say the Jets feel Viggo Bjork is ready in second line center. So now we can have the discussion: is if it's Velarde Perfetti, you don't need a Tarasenko, or like I don't mind signing him, but it would have to be at like $3 million. Or
I think at this point, I would only bring him in on a professional tryout,
really,
and see if the young guys can take that spot.
Because if Lambert's ready, why would you spend the $3 million?
Exactly, and I'm just too worried about getting into another Gus Nyquist situation.
Can you honestly believe that this Rook is that ready? Like, I hope he is. Good Lord, I hope he is. And we've always gone the other way sheltering these guys for 100 years, but it seems optimistic to hope the guys could. And you know what? He might for 40 games come out of the chute and be able to do it, but these guys tend to kind of run out of gas halfway through the season too. So,
well, that's what I was going to say. He might look good for 60 games, but whether it's at the start, the middle, or the end, there's got to be, 20 games where he's, going to need some learning curve and stuff like that. But
yeah, absolutely. Neil, thanks for the call. Really appreciate it. We got to take a break, but we're going to unveil the Boston Pizza.
Unveil. You want the veal chicken?
Oh, I do want the veal.
Well,
nice veal parm.
Yeah.
Unveil. There you go.
There's nothing better than the veal parm.
But we'll unveil it. The Boston Pizza Hockey Hotline winner.
Kopitar is also a free agent. I would prefer him.
Oh, he would be great, but I think he's sitting on a beach in LA right now, soaking up the sun. He's going to do that for a lot of the winter as well. But you can come in for lunch every weekday to Boston Pizza, get a delicious main side and ice cold drink for only $15, only at BP. Call 204-780-6868 on this free-for-all Friday, Jim.
Free-for-all Friday.
Jets at noon on 680 CJOB.
Welcome back to Jets at noon.
Free-for-all Friday.
Nailed it. Make sure you call us at 204-780-6868. Phone lines are open.
You can tell it's summer because some of our listeners have clearly been partaking.
They are at the lake.
And I dig it.
Yeah, well, not too much. But
well, yeah, some of it we got to.
But, Jim, there was a little bit of news about a former Winnipeg Jet. He's making his way back to North America. Alexander Burmistrov has signed with the Cincinnati Cyclones of the ECHL. Burmistrov had 2 assists, 0 goals last year in 20 games with the Shanghai Dragons of the KHL. What do you think he's going to be an ECHL All-Star this year?
What if he makes his way all the way back at 34?
That would be crazy.
That would be wild.
That'd be one hell of a run.
Former first-round pick, 8th overall.
I remember thinking that he was going to be a real good player.
Yeah,
I really did.
I liked him when he was here. He got a healthy scratch a couple times. He was a great interview about it. Antropov was talking about him being a healthy scratch and what he went through, and just didn't work out.
Let us know if there's a player
Would it shock you he only played 348 games in the show?
No. Let us know if there's a player.
You're a hardened veteran already. You're like, I've seen some stuff, Toth. Doesn't shock me at all.
Let us know if there's a player that you thought that was going to be something special that didn't. 204-780-6868. We'll be back right after the 12:30 news. Welcome back. Tyson Rowicki here along with Jim Toth on this free-for-all Friday, Jim.
Free-for-all Friday.
We're coming to you live from the Boston Pizza Studio for gourmet pizza and pasta. Bring the team to Boston Pizza. And this hour is also brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road, and at washmethod.com. Looking at the text line here, we asked you about some players that you thought were going to be great, and eventually they didn't end up panning out. Cal says Paul Postma never fulfilled his potential. He had that really bad cut, though, that, I mean, I don't know if that sort of derailed his career, but, it's definitely going to put a roadblock in it for sure. And then we have Jared saying, Jonathan Chichu, 56-goal season, won the Maurice Richard Trophy.
Yes, I remember that.
And then just kind of fizzled out right after. And then this one is an absolute deep cut. Hanu Yarvanpää, 4 goals in an exhibition game for Jets 1.0. That's a really deep pull. I have no idea who that guy is.
I don't either. And 4 goals in a preseason game. Hey, I'll call it up right now.
We'll have to look that up. But we'll head to the phone lines, 204-780-6868. And we got George on the line. George, how's it going this Friday?
What's up, boys?
Hey, George.
I love it, George.
Another Lake of the Woods fan.
What you got for us?
Listen, I got congratulations, Tyson, on landing a new job. So I got a little chore for you to figure out for me today. Want to know what Connor Hellebuck's stats were the year that the Jets went to Final Four and lost to Vegas, and compare the goals against and the goals for the team, as well as Connor Hellebuck's save percentage, as compared to the year that we won the President's Trophy.
Well, thanks for that, George. Really appreciate it. I mean, if we look at the President's Trophy, I mean,
George, this was like grade 8 Alberta math to me. Now you got to carry the 2 and take the 4, put the 1/4 fraction in.
Oh, come on.
That's a lot of work, George.
I thought you guys could figure that one out.
Well, we'll probably get it for you for next week. But
appreciate it, George. But if we're looking at the President's Trophy season, I mean, he was unbelievable. I mean, he won the MVP trophy. Like,
yes, the Hart Trophy.
He was sitting at a 925 save percentage, which, especially at that point, is super elite. Exactly a 2 goals against average, and he also had 47 wins, getting close to the all-time season record. But that was
also, Rick Bowness said that when he came in, and it always stood out to me. He was asked, and he said, well, my keys are, but the 4th or 5th one on down the list that I thought got forgotten too quickly was not allowing 25 shots a game.
Well, I'm more curious as to what, though, like the goals for and the goals were against during that playoff and that year as compared to the year he won the President's Trophy, because back then we had a few more players that were scoring goals. I mean, Blake Wheeler was there, Stastny was there, and we were probably getting more goals scored. So I want to know the comparisons for the goals for the whole team, not just for Connor Hellebuck, but the goals for the whole team as compared to how many goals they let in, and compare them to the stats for the President's Trophy year, because I want to see if there's a big difference in goals for the Jets.
Gotcha. We'll pull that up for you towards the end of the show.
That was my point a bit, George, was like, I know the President's Trophy year, there was so many games that they were 21, 22, 24, 23 shots per game. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but like compared to 28, 29, 31, it's a different. It's only 5 or 6 shots, but it's the type of shots, the high quality shots and stuff. But like Rick Bowness said that, he goes, I want to keep teams under 25 shots. And then the President's Trophy, especially down the stretch drive when they just kept, and out of the gate, I was looking and I'm like, at the start of the year, I think they had over 25, but it was like 27 shots or something. But towards the end of the year, they went on a run there where it was it was an anomaly. Every 9th game they would allow 25 shots or more.
Yeah, they were awesome that season. George, thanks for the call. Really appreciate it, man. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, you guys too.
Thanks, George.
We'll head to Fish now on the phone line. Fish, how's it going today?
Yeah, hey boys. Just quickly on Hanu Yarvenpää. I think he wore number 23 for the Jets back in the 80s. He was a guy they brought over here. We had Thomas Steen was here and Bengt Lundholm and some of the old guys like me will remember the Jets. They brought this guy over with a lot of fanfare. I do recall him having a hat trick. I don't remember it being 4 goals in the preseason game, but he was he could skate pretty good. I do remember an incident that may have occurred that, let's just say it's secondhand news, even though I was there. He was at a certain lake in northeastern Ontario, and he may have been jet skiing, and it didn't end so well for him, so he got injured. But that's just a story that may or may not be true, and don't hold me to account for that one.
That's great info, Fish.
Really, really good, and he was a complete bust. I think he might have played 100 games for the Jets.
I have it up here, Fish. He has 114 games. He had 114 games, all for the Jets. He had 11 goals, 26 assists, 37 points. But he played like 20 games, and then he went to Moncton. He played 41 games back to Moncton, and then he played 53 games. And then after that, he went back to Finland.
Yeah, it makes total sense. And, they brought him in. I think they thought that he could play. I mean, Thomas was a Swede and Lundholm was a Swede. But I think they thought there'd be a bit of a Scandinavian connection there. Never really panned out. I think he ended up coaching and may have coached a Finnish junior team or something. But
yeah, he's in Austria. Until 2019-20, he was coaching in Austria. And then nothing after that. But yeah, he coached 1 year in 2005-06 in Finland, and then he went 4 years from 2014-15 to 2019-20 in Austria as a head coach of a team there.
Appreciate the call, Fish.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Fish. That's awesome. He was drafted by Montreal in the 7th round, 145 overall in 82. And then he was drafted again in 86. So he went back into the draft.
4 years later.
And then he went from a 7th round pick to a 4th round pick 4 years later. And then he came over in 86, 87. But in the 82nd World Junior Tournament, he had 8 points in 7 games. And 82, I believe, was the first World Junior Tournament ever. That's when Scott O'Neill played for Team Canada with, I think, Howard Chuck and Mark Crawford.
Interesting.
Well, no, Mark Crawford played with them in Cornwall.
Dude, I just want to make one correction here. I said Paul Postman had the big cut on his leg. That was Zach Redmond. So thanks, Dan, for the correction there.
Zach Redmond, that was scary.
Jim, I wanted to ask you about this athletic fan survey that came out today.
Sure.
And so what it does is that we kind of did that on the show last week when we were talking about different areas and how we would grade them. And so there's a public section where it's fans from outside of the fan base, and then the fan base themselves. And so if we look at it, the public gave the Jets a C for roster building, a B- for cap management, a C for draft and development, a C- for trading, a D+ for free agency, and then a C- for vision, which was a total grade of C. And then the fan base was a little bit more harsh, which is to be expected. But roster building was given a D+. Cap management, still a B-. Draft and development was given a D. Trading at a C+, and a vision at a D for a total grade of D+.
That's from the fans.
Yes, that's from the fan base here.
That took part in the Athletic.
And so, the cap management one, that one kind of stands out to me. I think that they've done a pretty good job when it comes to cap management. Maybe they could have spent a little bit more money. But Randy actually on the text line had brought this up, and he wanted us to talk about, with the cap continuing to rise, just how long will it be before the Jets can't afford to spend to the max due to limited resources?
Yeah, I have, and I don't know why I have this number. I have nothing to base this on, but I have 120 million in my mind that's about as high. And when it goes to 120, I just don't think they're going to be a cap team anymore. There's just, we kind of talked about this too, Tyson. Like, you're a Flyers fan. What is there, 3 million, 5 million people in Philadelphia?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure.
I think it's 3 million. And so if you have an 18,000 seat arena and lose 6,000 fans, you have probably 2 million people to try and convince to buy a ticket or come in. Jets just don't have that wherewithal, right? There's 1.5 million people here. The price of it is going up. The economy in the way it is, if 5,000 people stop buying season tickets, I just don't think there's 5,000 other Manitobans that are going to buy season tickets. And then, we have to think of the Winnipeg area, right? When I talk Philadelphia or one of those cities, that's the city. You're not going to sell 1,000 tickets in Dauphin, season tickets.
Yeah.
You're going to sell 10, maybe 5. They're going to come, people from Dauphin are going to come in. And
I don't totally.
I do know some season ticket holders in Brandon.
It's just sports franchises are worth just so much money now that I almost find it kind of hard to be like, oh, well, we're going to have to scale back our spending here. It's like, you guys make so much money now. Like every franchise across the league, whether it's the NHL, NBA, NFL, MLB, those franchises' values are absolutely skyrocketing and prices continue to go up. And so I just don't really feel bad if a team decides, hey, we're not going to spend to the cap because we don't want to. Yeah. Well, that's on you then.
Sorry, Philadelphia has a 1.6 million in the city limit. I apologize. They basically have the population of our province in the city of Philadelphia to draw from. Yeah, I got to push back on this. So here was my introduction to this kind of math. It was the 90s Bulls, and we all know they won 6 championships. You couldn't go anywhere in China and not see a Bulls logo on something. It was global. They raked that in for 10 years. And when you watch The Last Dance and see how they had it with Phil Jackson, whatever, and Jordan retired, the decade was done. The very next year, they went like lowball. And I was kind of like, what are you doing? Like, you have this market, this brand. And I mean, this was the 90s. And I was in college and came out of college and I was a fan of the game. And I'm like, why would you do this to the Bulls? But they went low ball all the way around, players, everything, right? And it was my first introduction to, you run it on a year-to-year basis like any business. You have a budget. You don't go over the budget and you spend what you spend. That's the way it is. And that's what I mean. The Jets, there are years where they probably netted $300 million in jerseys and sales and all this. I don't know that, but whatever they net, there have been a couple of years where they have netted enormous amounts of money.
Of course.
Then there's also some years with the dollar and the way it's going up and the popularity and the building not being sold out and jersey sales. Why do you think they come out with a jersey every 2 years? It's because they need to make money, right?
Well, yeah, and they do make a lot of money.
You know what I heard was the Jonathan Taves jersey helped them immensely because they sold like so many in the state of Illinois. They can track which state and province things are sold in. Tyson, if you get up to 120, 130 million as a cap, and you're talking about somebody that is used to 83, 85, I don't know. I don't have the economics of it. I don't have the finances of it. I just think that, this team going 50 million over what the cap was, I think that's a hard sell here in Manitoba.
Well,
for True North.
And that will hamper them.
But True North is expanding, right? They're doing great things downtown. There's other revenues coming in, but they have David Thompson. But I also know from what I know from any person who's run a business is you run the business based on the business. You don't run it on how much money you banked, and you don't run it on how much money you're worth, i.e. David Thompson or Chipman family. You run it on a business model. The last thing you want to do as a pro sports franchise is start pouring in money that you don't have coming in from the business model.
Yeah. No,
is what I'm told.
I get that. It's just...
I think Mark would, to be honest with you. Mark has such a passion for his team, Mark Chipman. I think he would, if a push came to shove, put in some of his own... I don't mean his own, like, you know what I mean, outside of the business model. But I don't know of a lot of people that... Look, Ottawa went for $1 billion, didn't they, the Ottawa Senators? You will never get a return on any business venture if you sold the Jets right now for $1 billion. It costs 72,
I believe
172.
We'll have to pull that up. But
it costs less than $200 million, and you could sell it for $1 billion. There's not a business on the planet that shouldn't capitalize on that, and they're not.
Yeah,
they're not going anywhere. He's not getting out of it and all that. So, Again, I'm just speaking off my limited knowledge of financing and business, but I just know that you base it, from what I understand, your pro sports franchise on a business model year to year.
Yeah, Jim, we got to take a break just because we got Mike on the line and we got the winner for the Boston Pizza Hockey Hotline.
You think they'll always be a cap team? No matter how high?
The Boston Pizza Hockey Hotline is brought to you by Boston Pizza. Come in for lunch every weekday to Boston Pizza. Get a delicious main side and ice cold drink for only $15, only at BP. Jim, I think that they can.
Say the cap goes to $125 million. You think there'll be a $124.5 million cap?
I mean, depends on where they're at as a team and whatnot. I mean, are they rebuilding? Are they contending? I think that plays into it a lot, but we'll see. I guess that's going to be the biggest question.
They just paid Kyle Connor $12 million, and that's unheard of, right?
And the signing bonuses as well.
Yeah.
We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be right back with more Jets at noon.
Jets at noon on 680 CJOB.
Hello, Jets at noon. It's Grant calling. I was just scanning my Spotify, and I noticed that you didn't post anything on Monday. I'm just not sure how I'm going to make it through the week without my daily fix of Jets at noon. And all I have to say is, serenity now!
Well, Grant, for your troubles.
That's on you.
No.
That's on you.
Hey, I mean, I wasn't here Monday, but...
You let Grant down because you weren't here on Monday.
To make up for it, we'll give you the $50 gift card to BP. Come in for lunch every weekday to Boston Pizza. Get a delicious main side and ice cold drink for only $15, only at BP. Right before we wrap up the show, we got Mike on the phone. Mike, how's it going?
Good, fellas. You?
Doing very well.
Good,
what
Mike.
You got for us?
I just listening to the last part of the segment here about the cap going up to 130 and how Winnipeg market is not sustainable to spend the money. And I mean, I've been listening to the whole show and I love the callers and lots of comments. How is Winnipeg supposed to be competitive in a division with Colorado and Dallas, having no problem spending $130 million? And I agree, economics in Winnipeg times are tough for everybody, and the $140 tickets aren't easy to stomach. But I just want to mention, I read an article a few years ago on ESPN about the owner of the Golden State Warriors saying that he's not in professional sports to make money. He's in it to win championships. And I wish the same omen would be with Thompson and the millionaire Chipmans out there that, you know, we spend lots of money to be in that barn, but we're expecting a product on the ice. If you're spending $80 million, I don't think it cut it.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Really appreciate it.
They've always been a cap team, and I'm not saying they're not going to. I just think it's hard as the cap goes up, but they're in it to win it. I just said, if this was just a business that I owned and not a sports team, and I could make $1 billion off a less than $200 million investment, I'm selling that yesterday.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
And I want to squeeze this in. Beavis said, I did some research while I was listening. Forbes estimates the Jets made $160 million net last year after corporate expenses and get somewhere between $15 and $30 million from league revenue sharing. Player salaries are around $100 million, so $75 to $90 million. That is revenue that doesn't go up, which they are every year, and excludes future expansion payments. There's a lot of wiggle room. Yeah, I don't think they're in trouble at any means.
No.
I just say if it goes up to 140, 150 million, I just think this is a market that might not be a cap team, but it doesn't mean they're not going to spend. If it's 150, it doesn't mean they're not going to spend 125, 130.
Yeah, well,
they've always managed a cap well, but as it goes up and up and up, you have to look at the smallest market and go, can they?
Hey, that's what that. Hey, if you get into the business, you got to spend money to make money.
Much like on the ice, off it, it's the toughest market in the league, but they're here for a reason, and it's to win, and they're going to try and do it.
Special thanks to Jeff Forche for making the show go today. That does it for us today. Enjoy the weekend. Stay safe, everyone, and thanks for all the texts and calls. We really appreciate you making us part of your day. See ya.